because she's considered box office and she's a star who happens to be white. That is why Eminem, when I brought up words like envy or jealous or resentment, whatever word you wanted to pick, I didn't say it in a negative fashion like, oh my God, it's a problem. I used the word justified. You know why? Because black people throughout this country have felt that level of ire.
Kate Martin ain't playing. You will lose. Shit, don't mess with Kate Martin out there.
Nobody is coming close to the power of the Caitlin Clark effect. Like, they're just not.
You and I both know, right? We both know. No Caitlin Clark, no watch. No Caitlin Clark in the league, no watch. Caitlin Clark's in that league, viewership doubles, if not triple.
Kate Martin is not someone you want to mess with. If you challenge her, you're going to lose. Angel Reese found that out the hard way in the latest unrivaled league matchup, where once again, she made headlines for all the wrong reasons. This time, it wasn't about her skills or a dominant performance. It was about frustration boiling over, leading to a moment that left fans questioning her intent.
Angel Reese got a little bit of her own medicine last night from Kate Martin, who's pretty tight with Caitlin Clark. Now, she flopped around on the ground like she's LeBron's play cousin out there. Barely any contact, fall on the ground and start flopping around. Kate low-key revenge, fouling Angel.
Reese's aggressive collision with Martin had many wondering if it was a calculated move against Caitlin Clark's closest ally rather than just another in-game incident. But here's the thing, Kate Martin wasn't about to play the victim. She didn't just take the hit and complain. She let her game do the talking. Her lockdown defense, sharpshooting, and fearless play didn't just put Reese in her place. They exposed her weaknesses for the world to see. Reese, who has often been accused of excessive flopping, didn't help her case when she hit the floor after what looked like minimal contact. It was a moment so exaggerated it could have passed as a LeBron James audition tape. Meanwhile, Martin got her revenge the right way, by leading her team to victory and reminding everyone why hard work and skill matter more than theatrics. While Martin dominated, Reese struggled. Missed layups, careless mistakes, and a lack of focus made her a liability instead of an asset. To make matters worse, when she airballed a three-pointer in front of thousands of TV viewers, even the announcers seemed to pretend it didn't happen. But the fans weren't so kind.
Hit a rim? Could you not airball to the thousands of people that's watching on TV? It's a pretty poor-looking product on television.
Social media lit up with brutal takes, calling out Reese's poor performance and questioning her value in the unrivaled league. This game wasn't just a battle between two players. It was another chapter in the ongoing story of how Caitlin Clark's influence is reshaping women's basketball. Because, let's be honest, without Caitlin Clark, the league isn't drawing in the same viewership. With Clark, the numbers skyrocket. Without her, interest fades. And this game was a perfect example of why. The tension between Kate Martin and Angel Reese goes back years, dating to their college days. But this time, it went beyond simple competition and turned into chaos. In the first quarter, with the game still close, Reese made a reckless drive to the basket. Martin, known for her strong defensive presence, stood her ground. The result? A collision that sent Reese crashing to the floor. On the surface, it looked like a hard foul, but fans quickly pointed out that Reese's aggression seemed personal. Comments flooded social media immediately. Kate almost sent Barbie back to the bayou. One fan joked. Another added, that wasn't basketball, that was payback. While Reese rolled on the floor, Martin stayed locked in, determined to make her presence felt where it counted, on the scoreboard. And that's exactly what she did. Angel Reese's frustration became more evident as the game went on. Instead of focusing on playing efficiently, she let emotions take over. She missed several layups, a persistent issue throughout her career. Then came the dramatic flops, which had even her own fans shaking their heads. One moment stood out in particular. After minimal contact from Martin, Reese hit the floor and rolled around in an exaggerated attempt to sell a foul.
The boil on Caitlin Clark's ass, Angel Reese may be playing in the league, but who wants to see a goofy 6'6" woman miss layups?
It's here that we need to just realize Angel Reese is playing, and she's been very big on herself as being a massive draw. If that is in fact the truth, then why are people not watching with the same excitedness that they were watching?
The officials didn't buy it. Neither did the crowd. The harsh reality? Reese's struggles aren't just about this one game. They're part of a much bigger problem: her inability to consistently perform at an elite level. It's becoming clear that while she thrives on social media attention and off-court branding, her actual basketball skills haven't evolved. Commentators were quick to point out that when Reese plays well, her team still lose. This time was no different. She put up 17 points, but her inefficiency, missed opportunities, and lack of composure ultimately cost her team. One analyst summed it up perfectly. Could you hit a rim? Could you not airball with thousands of people watching on TV? It's a bad look. While Reese struggled, Kate Martin thrived. She played with precision, grabbed key rebounds, locked down on defense, and hit clutch shots that helped her team secure the win. Fans quickly rallied around her. Kate Martin just humbled Angel Reese again, one person tweeted. Another added, "This was domination, plain and simple." The contrast between Martin and Reese was impossible to ignore. Martin was composed, efficient, and focused. Reese was emotional, inconsistent, and sloppy. The narrative wrote itself. The unrivaled league was supposed to be a fresh start for Angel Reese, a chance to prove she belongs among the top players in the sport. But instead, it's exposing her shortcomings. From her missed layups to reckless play, her performances are showing that she might not be as dominant as she claims. The numbers don't lie. She's inefficient, inconsistent, and increasingly seen as more of a personality than a true game changer. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's influence continues to overshadow everything. Women's basketball viewership skyrocketed when Clark entered the WNBA. But instead of embracing that momentum, some in the league tried to downplay her impact. That was a mistake. Clark is the league's biggest marketing asset. When she plays, people watch. When she's not involved, interest fades. And this game between Reese and Martin only reinforced that reality. Because let's be real, no one is tuning in to watch Angel Reese struggle and flop. She's not Michael Jordan. She's not Magic Johnson. She's not Larry Bird. She's just a player who got famous for taunting Caitlin Clark. And at the end of the day, that's not enough. This wasn't just another game. It was a wake-up call. Kate Martin showed what real skill and composure look like. Angel Reese showed why she's struggling to live up to the hype. The rivalry between these two might continue, but as of now, one thing is clear. When it comes to actual basketball, Kate Martin has the edge. And unless Angel Reese starts focusing more on her game and less on the theatrics, she's going to keep falling behind. Because at the end of the day, drama won't win games. But skill, discipline, and hard work will. The launch of the unrivaled league was meant to revolutionize women's basketball, introducing modernizations and a fresh competitive landscape. However, fans have been slow to buy into the concept, as evidenced by the league's underwhelming viewership numbers. The games have averaged around 312,000 viewers across TNT and True TV, which, while not abysmal, pale in comparison to the WNBA numbers, particularly those featuring Caitlin Clark. The contrast between Clark's massive appeal and Angel Reese's inconsistent performances has only magnified the league's struggles. Caitlin Clark's dominance, even in her absence from the unrivaled league, continues to be a focal point in women's basketball. While Angel Reese was positioned as a marquee player for this new league, her performances have been inconsistent at best, failing to capture the same level of excitement as Clark. In contrast, Caitlin Clark's WNBA games routinely draw millions of viewers, breaking records and filling arenas. The stark disparity has not gone unnoticed by fans, media analysts, and even other players. WNBA players and their allies in the mainstream media have downplayed Clark's impact, but the numbers tell a different story. Her presence alone has elevated the league, making games must-watch events. Yet, when money is involved, the narrative suddenly changes. The same people who dismissed Clark's significance are now attempting to lure her to the unrivaled league with a lucrative offer, a $1 million contract for 2 months of play, along with an ownership stake in the league. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's off-court presence often garners more attention than her actual basketball performances. While Clark spends her off-season refining her game, Reese prioritizes her social media brand, podcasts, and high-profile interviews. While her Instagram photo shoots may attract engagement, they do little to improve her game or her credibility as a top-tier player. Fans have noticed, with one particularly pointed tweet stating, "Caitlin Clark is a basketball player. Angel Reese is an Instagram model." The recent matchup between Kate Martin and Angel Reese further exposed Reese's struggles. Martin played a smart, composed game, making calculated plays and stepping up when it mattered most. Reese, on the other hand, relied heavily on physicality and theatrics, culminating in a highly aggressive collision with Martin that many fans saw as an intimidation attempt rather than a genuine basketball play. The incident, coupled with Reese's overall inconsistency, has led to widespread criticism. Adding to the drama, Reese fouled out of the game, leaving her team in a vulnerable position, while Martin and the LA's basketball club secured the win. This outcome only reinforced the perception that Reese was more of a marketing tool than a true game-changer for the unrivaled league. Despite initial hopes that she would be the face of this new basketball movement, her poor decision-making and inability to shine in crucial moments have cast doubt on her effectiveness. The league's desperation to attract Caitlin Clark further underscores its struggles. Offering her a record-breaking salary and partial ownership reveals just how much they need her star power to legitimize the competition. Yet, the irony is glaring. Clark does not need the unrivaled league. The league needs her. Without her involvement, the entire venture risks being seen as nothing more than an overhyped experiment. One major question remains. Why would Angel Reese, who has positioned herself as a rival to Clark, want her in the league? If Clark were to join, the spotlight on Reese would inevitably fade, overshadowed by Clark's superior skills and star power. Reese's appeal has largely been built on controversy and social media engagement rather than sustained elite play. If Clark were to enter the mix, Reese's relevance within the league would diminish significantly. Fans are well aware of the Clark effect. Even WNBA games that do not feature Clark have seen increased ratings, demonstrating the widespread interest she generates. Here are some notable numbers from WNBA games featuring Clark. Indiana Fever vs. Chicago Sky, 2.3 million viewers. Chicago Sky vs. Indiana Fever, 2.25 million viewers. Indiana Fever vs. Seattle Storm, 2.2 million viewers. Connecticut Sun vs. Indiana Fever, 2.1 million viewers. These figures make the unrivaled league's 312,000 average viewers look minuscule by comparison. The reality is clear. Caitlin Clark drives ratings, while Angel Reese and the unrivaled league struggle to maintain even modest audience engagement. Reese was supposed to be the unrivaled league's breakout star, but instead, her presence has only highlighted the league's broader issues. While she has occasional scoring bursts, her inconsistency, poor decision-making, and over-the-top antics have made her a liability rather than an asset. In her recent game against Kate Martin, Reese's aggressive playstyle seemed more personal than strategic. Given the history between Martin and Clark, many fans speculated that Reese's hostility was driven by her ongoing feud with Clark rather than pure competition. One commentator remarked, "This wasn't about basketball. This was about revenge." However, Martin refused to be rattled. She remained composed, played solid defense, and neutralized Reese's impact on the game. Her ability to perform under pressure further highlighted Reese's shortcomings. Fans praised Martin for her resilience, with many celebrating her as a player who represents skill and teamwork over unnecessary drama. Beyond her individual performance, Martin's connection to Caitlin Clark also intrigued fans, as it reinforced the growing influence of Clark's circle within women's basketball. While the unrivaled league struggles to find its footing, Caitlin Clark continues to elevate her game. She has been fine-tuning her mechanics and adjusting to new challenges, proving that she remains the most compelling figure in women's basketball. Even during the off-season, fans are eager to see how her training and minor adjustments will translate into the upcoming WNBA season. Clark's appeal extends beyond just the WNBA. She is set to participate in an NBA All-Star Weekend event, further solidifying her status as a crossover star. The prospect of seeing her alongside elite shooters like Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson in a three-point contest is generating excitement across basketball communities. As one fan noted, "Steph is going to be super hyped for this matchup." There's no way he's missing out on competing against Caitlin Clark. As the WNBA season approaches, the narrative is becoming increasingly clear. While the unrivaled league scrambles to stay relevant, Caitlin Clark remains the face of women's basketball. Her talent, work ethic, and ability to draw massive audiences set her apart from her contemporaries. In contrast, Angel Reese's theatrics and inconsistent play have made her a symbol of the unrivaled league's struggles. Fans are already tuning out of the unrivaled league, with sparse attendance and dwindling interest. If the league cannot secure Caitlin Clark, it risks fading into irrelevance. The harsh reality is this: without Clark, the league is nothing more than a polished failure. The sooner the league acknowledges this, the better chance it has of surviving in the long run. The momentum that the WNBA has been building is beginning to wane, and this is where Caitlin Clark re-enters the picture. Even without being a part of the unrivaled league, Clark's influence on the sport is undeniable. Her name is consistently brought up in discussions about what the league needs to thrive. Clark's performances in the WNBA have shattered viewership records, and her upcoming participation in the NBA All-Star Weekend alongside Steph Curry is expected to further elevate women's basketball. She has proven that skill, dedication, and professionalism, not drama, are what drive the sport forward. Recently, Clark celebrated her birthday in the best way she knew how, by honing her craft. She spent the day in the gym, going an impressive 50 for 54 from beyond the arc. Coach Keith Porter, also known as Coach KP, has emphasized that one of his primary goals for Clark is to expand her skill set so that she can effectively counter any defensive strategy thrown at her. Clark's relentless work ethic is evident in her performances, and if she wants to average 20 or 30 points per game, opposing teams will simply have to accept that reality because there's not much they can do to stop her. In contrast, Angel Reese's career seems to be marred by controversy and excuses. Reese has frequently blamed Clark and her fanbase for the backlash she receives, but the truth is that her struggles are largely self-inflicted. Her refusal to focus on improving her game is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. Many fans and analysts believe that Reese isn't disliked because of Caitlin Clark. She is criticized because she hasn't shown the same level of growth and commitment to excellence. The media frequently highlights the supposed star power in the WNBA, but there is a clear distinction between being famous and being a true draw for the league. Angel Reese may be a social media sensation, but that doesn't translate to ticket sales or television ratings. In comparison, Caitlin Clark's presence alone is enough to sell out arenas. Last season, the league had to relocate games from smaller high school gyms to NBA venues just to accommodate the massive demand for her games. This level of attention is unprecedented in women's basketball, and it underscores her influence on the sport. Without Caitlin Clark, women's basketball struggles to capture mainstream attention. The NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament garners significant viewership, but outside of that, and Clark's presence in the WNBA, interest in the league is limited. The reality is that for 30 years, women's basketball has struggled to generate television ratings, and without a transcendent star like Clark, it continues to be an uphill battle. Her influence cannot be overstated. Her name is frequently mentioned alongside global icons like Taylor Swift, illustrating just how mainstream she has become. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's playing style and on-court antics have done little to improve the league's image. Her aggressive behavior, flopping, and missed opportunities have cost her team games and further exposed the flaws in her game. While Reese may continue to make headlines, her actions do little to contribute to the long-term growth of the sport. In contrast, players like Kate Martin and Caitlin Clark emphasize skill, teamwork, and respect for the game, qualities that will always be valued over theatrics. Clark's growing legacy is a stark contrast to Reese's struggles. Clark is an athlete who handles herself with grace and professionalism, and her impact on the game is undeniable. The NBA itself has acknowledged her influence, placing her on the same level as some of the biggest names in sports. Even casual fans who aren't deeply invested in the WNBA know about Clark because of her exceptional talent and dedication. Kate Martin also demonstrated the power of composure and defensive prowess in a recent matchup. Her performance sent a clear message: skill and teamwork will always triumph over distractions. As Angel Reese continues to be known for the wrong reasons, Clark's influence only grows stronger, proving that true greatness is built on hard work and respect for the game. This raises an important question. How long will the WNBA continue to support a player whose actions and performances fail to live up to the hype? Caitlin Clark's star power is only increasing, while Angel Reese's career trajectory remains uncertain. One thing is clear: Clark's legacy is cemented as one of the greatest to ever play the game, while Reese's antics serve as a reminder of what is lacking in the league. At the heart of this discussion is the racial dynamic that has long existed in sports and entertainment. Caitlin Clark is a white athlete who has gained widespread acclaim, and this has led to resentment from some corners. There is a belief that Black athletes have to work twice as hard to receive half as much recognition. Throughout history, Black professionals in various fields have had to go above and beyond to earn the same level of respect and financial rewards as their white counterparts. This disparity isn't new. It has been a persistent reality in American society. Angel Reese's comments reflected deeper frustration that many Black athletes share. They recognize that mainstream America is more receptive to white athletes achieving greatness, while Black athletes often face additional scrutiny and challenges. When people say that white athletes receive more opportunities, they are not necessarily wrong. The demographics of the country play a role in this dynamic. As the white population in America continues to decline from historical highs, societal attitudes are also shifting. However, the perception remains that white athletes benefit from an inherent advantage in terms of media coverage, sponsorship deals, and public support. This underlying tension is part of the reason why Angel Reese's actions are viewed through a different lens than Caitlin Clark's. When Reese taunted Clark during a game, it became a major controversy. However, when Clark displays confidence or engages in competitive behavior, it is often seen as a sign of her passion for the game. These double standards exist across all professions, not just sports. It's a reality that Black athletes have had to navigate for generations. While this discussion is complex, the core issue remains. Caitlin Clark's dominance is driven by her work ethic and skill, while Angel Reese's struggles stem from a lack of focus on improving her game. If Reese wants to change the narrative surrounding her career, she will need to shift her focus from social media fame to basketball excellence. Until then, Clark will continue to be the face of women's basketball, setting records and inspiring future generations with her dedication and professionalism. At the end of the day, basketball is about skill, determination, and respect for the game. The players who embody these qualities will always be the ones remembered as true greats. As the WNBA looks toward the future, one thing is certain: Caitlin Clark's impact will continue to shape the sport for years to come, while Angel Reese's legacy remains uncertain. The league has a choice to make. Will it continue to support players who bring unnecessary drama, or will it embrace the ones who are truly elevating the game?